So your home didn't sell. Man, that stinks. Happens a lot. I think it's about two-thirds of homes sell, third of homes don't, for one reason or another. So if your home did not sell, it all breaks down. There can be all kinds of reasons, but really there's four main reasons, with the fourth one that we're going to share being the primary one. So we'll build to that. But there are four primary reasons why your home didn't sell. Let's talk about how we can rectify those and get you back on the market and get you sold. This is Steve with the Malone Home Team, EXP in the Atlanta area. All right, as we talked about, a third of homes that go on the market don't sell for one reason or another. We wish it was easier. And in this market, it's a lot easier than it was, let's say, 10, 15 years ago, just because we have such a lack of inventory. We're recording this in 2023. Still a seller's market. The house has to look the part. You know what I mean? It's not like it was for those couple years during the pandemic. All you had to do was put a for sale sign and your house would sell. Okay? It's back to regular real estate. Okay? But at the same time, it kind of feels like things are piling on you if you try to sell your house and it didn't sell. So let's break it down. Top four reasons. Again, we'll save the big one for the end. But there's four reasons why your house probably did not sell. We'll break them all down, tell you what you can do about each one of those. And here we go. First reason the house probably did not sell: marketing. Agent may not have marketed it correctly. Okay, and what are we talking about that? There are ways that you get the house out there in front of more people. There's ways that you can, do like targeted marketing, things like that. But the reality of the situation is a lot of that stuff helps, but really what you need to do more than anything is put the house in a position when you put it on the MLS to where it's going to sing and dance. You need to have the right photographer. You need to have the right person doing all the copy when it comes to writing the description. You need to be sure that when they put it in the MLS, all the stuff in there is correct. Schools, counties, whatever, because we've seen that messed up. And if you mess up locations and people look into certain locations, people won't see your house. There's all kinds of different things like that. Did they do the open houses correctly? Open houses are a really good marketing tool. Marketing is a way of getting your house in front of people. And if they do open houses correctly, that's happening. Something that we do, open houses with photography, with all that stuff. But at the end of the day, marketing is a very important piece. And again, a lot of agents are going to say, oh, you need to have whiz bang this and that. No. You need to get the fundamentals unbelievably right. You need to get the fundamentals like locked down, super solid, ready to rock and roll, and you'll be amazed. It's 2023. The real estate agent will list a house and take iPhone pictures. I'm telling you right now, as a realtor, I don't know if I have this power, but I'm gonna give you this power. If you go to sell a house and your realtor starts taking iPhone pictures as the listing pictures, you have my permission to yell like crazy and demand them to get out of the house and hire a real realtor. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. I don't know if I have that kind of power, but you definitely should push back like crazy. That is unacceptable. It is so cheap to get a really good photographer to come in, take really good pictures of the house. That's the first showing for the house. You're gonna need somebody who's gonna have a really good open house, all that stuff. Marketing. Your house needs to land in front of all the right people, but when it does, it needs to look the part. It needs to sing and dance. Could be the reason why your house didn't sell. Let's talk about some more. All right, number two, condition. The house may not be in the right condition to get sold. Okay, a couple years ago, it wouldn't matter what the house looked like. You could have a big old hole in the floor that led right into the basement that you could fall through, like in Home Alone when the two guys went into the basement. Could look like that, and it would have sold because there was nothing out there and everybody wanted to buy. That is not the market we're in right now. You want to have the house really looking the part for two reasons. Number one, when a buyer comes up, we want them to buy the house. And they are more likely to buy a house if the house looks the part than if it doesn't look the part, because it's less to do, it's more appealing, gets them all excited, but it also tells the buyer this house is taken care of. Now, even if it hasn't been taken care of and you just need to do about a month's worth of stuff to kind of get the house up and running, ready to rock and roll, we're trying to convey to the buyer that this house is ready to sing and dance. This house is awesome. Okay, there's a huge difference, and you see it all the time online. Before you list, I want you to go online and look at homes that are in your area. Look at the pictures. And I want you to compare. Take your house out of it, because I don't want your biases to get in the way. Take your house out of it. Look at the other houses. You can tell in your neighborhood if there's two houses for sale in your neighborhood. Which one looks the part and which one looks like a ragamuffin. Okay? One of them, guaranteed, at least one of them looks like a ragamuffin. It looks like it's a mess. You got to fix some of the wood outside, some of the rotten wood around the doors, around the windows. You got to fix the deck. The yard's looking like a mess. All that stuff. Okay? Condition. We've got to let the buyers know this house is ready to rock and roll. We got to let the buyers know that we've taken care of the house. Condition matters a lot. Okay? We want to have a big first impression. We want people to, because the reality is, the mother is going to pick the house. All right? She's the one who's going to come in and say, that's the house. Okay? So, there's always somebody that's buying the house, and they know in 5 seconds. Okay? If they're walking up and the paint's scratched and the driveway's a mess and there's weeds everywhere and you walk in and there's scratches on the wall, and that's it. You're probably done in 5 seconds. I guarantee you. Okay? We want to get the buyers into the house, get them start thinking themselves being there, picturing themselves there and whatever. And it's hard for somebody to picture themselves in the house if there's a big giant hole in the floor. Okay? There you go. Condition. Is your house the top standard in the neighborhood, or is it the ragamuffin? We're not going to be judgmental, but we have to have those conversations. So the number 2 reason that homes likely don't sell is condition. The third reason why homes don't sell, the market. We talked about marketing earlier. Now it's the market. Last year, about middle part of June, market just ran off the rails and kind of on the side of the tracks. Market just stopped for the rest of the year. It was a good 6 months off of real estate. It's kind of quiet. Okay, at that point, really, really nice houses were not selling because the buyers were gone. Now, really, 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 really nice houses that were really, really, really well priced were selling. But it was not the same situation as it was the year before, 2 years before. So what does that set us up with? Sometimes you're in a house that's $500,000. Your neighbor sold for $500,000. You sold $500,000, or your people across the street sold $500,000. You want to sell your house for $500,000. Fine. You don't want to go for $600,000, not in this market, but $500,000. They did $5,000. People across the street did $5,000. You want to do $5,000. That market goes off the rails. You're not doing $5,000 anymore. You may have to go $475,000. And a lot of times this person who's sitting at $5,000, who again, the neighbor did $5,000, across the street did $5,000, and you want $5,000, if you can only get $475,000, but maybe you can get $5,000 if you wait till spring, I'll wait till spring. I'm good with that. So for that reason, we don't get a lot of sales. Buyers aren't looking to buy, sellers aren't looking to sell, things go quiet. So that creates that market where to get it sold, you've really got to drop the price. You really got to, and some people just don't want to do it. And I completely understand that. It's just your asset, it's your plans for the future, it's your financial whatever. But just know, if your goal is to sell for $500,000, and across the street did, next door did, a couple months ago, they did it like 3 months ago, they did it last month, and the market tanks, and you're sitting at $5,000 and wanting to do $5,000, market may not support that. And then that just becomes a question of, like, when's the market going to change? We're mid-2023 right now. We're in June. We're going to see interest rates hold high for a little bit longer. A lot longer than we were hoping. When they get down below 6, a lot more buyers are going to come out. Market's going to be much more likely to support that 5 that you want to get. Right now, mid to late June, this isn't that time. We go for 5. If we're not going to get it, we got to pivot quickly down to $475 to get this thing sold. Otherwise, it's going to sit for a very long time. Okay? I think your house is worth $5,000. You think your house is worth $5,000. It might be worth $5,000 at a different time. Right now, it's not. It just is what it is. Sometimes the market keeps us from selling our house. That's number 3. So number 4, and this is the big one, price. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. I've been in real estate for about 6 years. Before that, I was in advertising sales, working with realtors, kind of hand in hand with them for another 3 years. Been around real estate a lot in the last 10 years. Price is king. Okay. If the house next door sold for 5, house across the street sold for 5, and your house goes on the market and it's very similar, we talked about earlier, you want to get 5. It's hard to get 550. If last month the guy across the street got 5 and the guy next door got 5, we can't go for 550. Market doesn't support it. Now, if the market changes, maybe it does. But if the house didn't sell, that's a sign that at that price, the house isn't going to sell. We talked to a lot of people who come off the market, call them expired listings. They expire because there was a listing, there was a time on their listing. When that time was up, the house hadn't sold. The listing expired. Okay, some of them have been on the market for 3 months, some 6 months, things like that. And at the end of the day, and we've sold several of those expired listings, at the end of the day, we don't go back up on price the next time around. If you expired at 475, let's say, you're sitting at 475, and the house just didn't sell. Yes, maybe the previous agent's marketing was terrible. Maybe you had some condition issues and we fixed them. Maybe the market was terrible, it's better now. The best we can do is go back in. If you've done some changes and the market's done better, the best we can really do is go back at 475, right where you were. We're not going to go up on price because the market has shown you that 475, one of two things, okay? Number one, the condition didn't meet the price, or number two, the condition's fine, the price is too high, okay? So most of the time we will go down on price because number one, the price didn't sell the last time. Number two, we want to put ourselves in a position where the price, whatever the market price is, because there's a market price. If we could plug your house into a wall and it gave us a market price, it just went ching, 460. That'd be great. We know we'd sell for 460, we get an offer, and everybody would be great. But we need to figure out what everybody else is sold for, what the market's going for, what the condition of the house. All those factors come into play as far as what you can sell the house for. What we have found is we get an idea of where the market price is supposed to be. We'll list below that. A little bit. We only list it like 200,000. But let's say expired at 475, and let's say 460 would get it done. Let's list it at 450. Because if you list it at 450, what's going to happen? You're going to get more buyers. Buyers looking between 450, and 5. So right in the middle. We talk about that a lot. We want to price on the big numbers. So you get a whole bunch of buyers looking at it. You have a big to-do when it relists. Okay, we're going to have new pictures. Things are going to be fixed. It's going to look great. If the target price is 460, if that's the magic number, if that's where the market's going to support it, we're going to have enough showings and enough offers to get that price to 460. Okay, there will be enough competition to get that price up to 460. Okay, I have a coach that tells me all the time, you want to price a house to where the buyers are fighting each other. You don't want to price a house where the buyer is going to fight you. Okay, so that's why we would do that. It stinks. I want all of my sellers to get every single dollar possible from selling their house because I want them to have a wonderful story, tell all their friends that Steve kicked butt, got that sold, he got like $1 billion for it, whatever. I want those stories. They're great on social media. But I also want to get your house sold. And if we go too high, the buyers know. The buyers know what the price is supposed to be. The buyers know what the market is. The buyers know that there's a giant hole in the floor. All that stuff. Okay? The buyers know the price. If we go high, all we're doing is setting ourselves up to not sell the house or to sell it much lower. I want you to think. You got to think about it from the position of a buyer. Look at the other houses in the neighborhood. If there are two houses and they're both priced exactly the same, okay? They're both priced, let's say, at 500. Just make it easy. But this one's been on for 3 months. This one went on last week. They're both 500. Again, 3 months, last week, knowing nothing else about the house. Which one's probably going to be the better deal? Exactly. The one that just went on. If it's been on for 3 months, you wonder what's wrong with it. I don't want to put you in that position. Okay. It stinks. Again, I want my people to get every dollar they possibly can. But most of the time, homes, when they expire, is because of price. That price is going to do all kinds of stuff by bringing the price down a little bit. It's going to make the marketing easier, because to make marketing better, we get in front of more people. The lower the price, the more buyers we get in front of. Okay, the more attractive it is. Okay, people would rather buy a $450,000 house than a $500,000 house. Okay, makes it more attractive, all that stuff. So it's a marketing piece. Condition. When people look at the condition, they look at the price and say, is that condition work with that price? Slightly lower price means you can get away with a little bit more on condition. Okay, giant hole in the floor. If you're buying a $200,000 house, maybe you could say, I get some plywood and we're good to go. Is what it is. I wouldn't do that. We'd probably want to work out a fix and due diligence. But anyway, you understand what I'm saying. The other thing is the market. Okay, if the market's super crazy like it was during the pandemic, price is not an option, or not an issue, I should say. Put a price out. We'll get it. It ain't no thing. When the market slows down like it is doing right now, price becomes an issue. By bringing the price down, we take care of the market part of it, because then the market is a little more conducive for that house. Okay, so pricing makes all the other stuff work out and get you in a better spot to get the house sold. I want you to get every dollar, but at the same time, I do want the house to get sold. Okay, we got to walk that fine line. That's number 4. We got to get the price right. So there you go. If the house didn't sell, those are your 4 reasons. And of course, the big one is pricing. That's kind of a weird thing that we have to talk about sometimes, because everybody, and myself included, I think my house is probably worth more than just somebody standing on the street corner would think. They probably look at my house and say it's worth X. I think it's worth like 2X. I think it's worth twice as much. I live here. I'm biased. Okay? We all live there. We're all biased. What you want to do is you want to get in front of a non-biased professional that can look at you and say, and talk about all 4 of those things. So if the reality is, if the house didn't sell, how can I improve all 4 of those things in a good world? How can I improve all 4 of those things to where I can get the house sold for the top dollar? Okay. How can I improve the marketing? How can I improve the condition? How can I take advantage of the market? And how can I have the best price that will cause the buyers to fight themselves versus fight me? Okay, that's the good world. The perfect world is if let's adjust all of those things to where maybe you can actually make a little bit more money. Maybe you're close on price. We've seen a lot to where, like we just talked about, if somebody didn't sell their house, okay, or somebody didn't sell their house in the first month and they try and drop the price, the longer your house is on the market, the more buyers say to themselves, the house isn't worth that number, and their perceived value of the house goes down over time. We're chasing that number with price drops, but we may never catch that perceived value, right? Okay, so sometimes, let's say the house is worth $500. We listed at $550, and I've had this happen before. The house is worth $500. We listed at $550, and it doesn't sell. Then we drop it to $535 and it doesn't sell. We drop it to $525, it doesn't sell. Drop it to $5. And we drop it to $5, which if we had listed it at $5 in the beginning, the house would have sold right off the bat. But by the time we listed it at $5, 3 months later, all the buyers said to themselves, dude, house isn't worth $5. It was worth $5 3 months ago. But the perceived value is lower now. Okay, so if that happens, house comes off the market, a new agent comes in with a new marketing campaign. We fix some things in the house. We put it back on like right at $5 or maybe $495, whatever it is, and you can end up like at $5 or $505, something like that. I mean, you can still do a little bit better because that's now that it's reset, it's gone back on the market. Now people are going to see the house in a different light, things like that. Maybe you can get the number. Okay, there's no guarantees. Well, one of the guarantees is, and we've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of people whose house has expired and gone off the market. Okay, the overwhelming number of times that it's gone off the market is because of price. Let's talk about before you go back on the market. where the price should be, to where you can not only maximize the amount of money you can make off the house, but you also get the house sold. Okay, and the reality is, you may want a little bit more money than the market's going to give you, and we've had that a lot too. I've looked at sellers, looked at them in the house. They say, we want you to sell our house, and this is what we want, and we've had to say, let's wait 6 months and see what happens, because we do not want to put you on the market too high for the market and have the listing go stale, things like that. Wait for a better market. Wait for things to turn around a little bit. Let's get the number that you really want again. All right. Sometimes that's the play, is to wait a little bit longer. There's all kinds of different little things working in the background. Okay. So that's what we do for our people. Especially the house didn't sell the first time. Let's peel apart the onion. Let's look at it and see what happened. Talk about what we can do to get you back on the market. Let's get you sold the next time. If you have any questions, if some of that made sense or it didn't make sense, let me know in the comments. Send me an email. Email's below. You can find me on all the socials. I'm there all the time. And there you have it. Let's talk about some more. This is Steve, Malone Home Team, EXP, Atlanta. Take care. Bye.